Good morning, boys and girls.
Good morning, Miss B.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. Now, today we are going to get ready to do our math. Are you guys ready to do math?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, we need to put our thinking caps on nice and tight so we can get going. All right. We got to use all our brain power, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So earlier in the week, we started out. What have we been talking about?
Place values.
We have been talking about place value. And what place values have we been talking about?
Our ones and our tens.
Right, the ones and tens group. And what do we know about the ones and tens group? How many ones do we need to make a 10? 10. So once we get 10 ones, we have to what? We have to move it over to the tens group. Okay, so let's find out what we've learned about our place values so far, okay? We're going to make a list. Now, if I was in a standard classroom with a bigger board, I would be writing the list as I teach. But today, we have a small board, so we're going to go with our list that we have. So we know what we know about place values so far. We said that we, number one, know about ones and tens, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2, what do we know?
Place value is based on the base 10 system.
So we're counting with groups of 10 all the time. Always counts of groups of 10, right? Okay, and then what else do we know? Number 3?
Exactly one number can only be placed in each column.
Right, exactly one number in each column. So once we get to 9, that means we have to move over to 10, right? So we go to the next place value, okay? Then number 4, what do we know on number 4?
Each column has a placeholder of 0 to 9.
Each column, that means we can only go to 9 and we start at 0, at the lowest. But 0 is what?
Number 5. There can never be an empty column. 0 is an important placeholder.
That's right. There can never be an empty column. If there's an empty column, we're going to have a big hole, and it's not going to say what we want it to say, okay? All right. So now that we've talked about our place value, we are going to move on to what we're going to be discussing today. Today, we're going to be discussing a new column in place value, the hundreds group. And now let's get out our base 10 figures, our little baggie of figures that we have. And Mrs. B has one also. I am going to be writing mine up here, though, because I don't have magnets. If I was in a standard classroom, my base 10 figures would all be laminated, and I'd have a magnet on the back so that I could model them on the board. But for today, I'm going to be using markers to model my base 10. Okay, so we're going to figure out how we're going to understand the hundreds column, okay? So let's figure out how many tens, and we're going to use the blue marker to represent 10, okay? We have a line for 10. The red marker with a square is going to represent our hundreds, okay? And the green dot is going to represent our ones, okay? So that we don't get confused here. Okay, so we want to know how many tens make up 100. Let's count them. Let's find out. Ready? Can we count by tens? We all know how to do that, right?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Okay, so let's count how many that is now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many tens does it take to make 100? 10. But now wait a second. If we have to go to hundreds group to make 100, can we write the number 10 in there? No.
Because how many numbers can we have in each column?
1.
we can only have exactly one number in each column, so that won't work. So what do we do in the tens group when we've got 10 ones?
I know.
Yes?
We put a 0 right there
A 0 right here.
for our ones, and then we put a 1 for how many tens we have.
And a 1 for how many tens. So when we go to hundreds group then, if we have 10 tens, what would we do there? 10 tens. Yes, what would we do?
We would make a 100 and put a 0 in the tens.
That's right. We'd make a 100. 1 would represent,
How many hundreds you have.
and then the tens would be the 0 part, right? And then we don't have any ones as far as we know, so that would be
A
0.
And what number does that read then?
100.
100. Isn't that neat how that works?
Yes.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to try to apply it. We're going to find out what happens when we start writing numbers. Everybody has their own worksheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and on your worksheet, you're going to work with your base 10 models as I'm working on the board, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so our first number that we're going to look at is going to be the number 485. 485. And I'm going to be drawing mine out.
And are we supposed to be doing this on our paper?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do this on your paper in your little columns that look exactly like mine. Okay, you have columns and yes, you have a paper that looks, let's see. You have a paper that looks exactly like mine, okay?
Yes.
And that way there, we can model it together.
Is it 485?
485. We're going to try it. And I'm going to draw my base 10 models.
One, two, three, 4. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I love how hard you girls are working.
Thank
By
you.
the way, these are my great helpers today. They're acting to be my second graders. We're doing a second grade place value example.
Okay, my
Okay, so now let's count. How many hundreds did we find? 1, 2, 3, 4. We found 4 hundreds, and I'm going to write it in the hundreds
Hundreds.
column. Okay? And then how many tens did we find?
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many did we find?
8.
Tens. We found 8 tens. And then let's see, how many ones did we find?
1,
2, 3,
3,
4, 5. We found 5 ones. So now you can see we had 4 hundreds, 8 tens, and 5 ones, which equals 485. Now, we can also write it in expanded form. Let's not forget our friend expanded form. And you also have this on the bottom of your worksheet, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how would we write that?
Oh.
Yes.
Don't we write it like where we have the zeros where the other numbers go?
Yes. So we would write this as 400.
400.
How do we write 400?
0.
400, right?
Mhm.
And then how do we write 8 tens?
Since there's only one more place value, right? 8.
You write an 8 and 1 0, right? Because we have to make sure we fill up all the columns, right? And then how do we write the ones?
Oh, we just put the number.
That's right. We just put the number. The number represents itself, okay? So the 8 represents the tens and the 4 represents the hundreds. But ones, they represent themselves. Isn't that interesting how that works?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's try another one. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
All right. Am I keeping you on your toes today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me get mine all erased too. Gotta have all erased. All right, so we can start again. Okay, the next number we're gonna try is 950. 950. How would we represent 950 with our base 10 models? 950.